G'day folks, critical moment here out in the east. So the situation is it's winter 1863, the start of the year. In late 1862, Lee had his own little Shenandoah campaign, managed to reach up to Strasbourg, but then was fought back by Burnside. Burnside fought him back, Lee had to retreat. Hooker, I think it was, came over from West Virginia, has brought a force, and the Union has consolidated into two key armies. One under Hooker. Burnside, for all his great work last year, was demoted, now serves under Banks. And as a result, the Confederates have really retreated back to Hanover and Gordonsville. It's now the last action cycle of the season, so the turn is about to end. The Union has already had their sort of actions, and Grant is charging into Mississippi. He's just captured Holly Springs, way out west. Curtis has just captured Fayetteville in Arkansas, and the Confederates on the back foot. There's not much they can do out in the Trans-Mississippi, out in the west. So they're looking at here, and Lee on the defensive, everything going wrong. They're gradually losing BPs. Lee's like, right, let's get things into gear. Let's attack. He has, I think in theory, they might outnumber the Union here by a couple of SPs. What he wants to do, he can move with 5. He is going to leave 5,000 men behind in Hanover, leaving Richmond virtually undefended here. He's picking up this massive stack of 9 SPs. He'll leave Longstreet behind, doesn't need Longstreet to come with him. He'll march 1, 2, so he's out of the range of Banks. Banks can't intercept. He'll head into, what's it called again? Gordonsville. And he'll leave Bragg and Beauregard and Hill. He'll pick up Beauregard, leave Bragg and Hill in command of another one. And the reason I'm leaving 1 behind here is so that the entrenchments stay there. So let's pick up 8 SPs, giving him a strength of 17. That's basically, why is that important? Because it's the best column you can achieve on the CRT. You can't get any higher than 17. So he's at maximum strength here, rolling 3 dice in combat. So 1, 2, from here, from Gordonsville, he has 2 choices. He can march into Fredericksburg, where he'll face off against Banks and Burnside with a +2 modifier. They're in a +4 fort. Or he can strike at Hooker, who is just in level 2 entrenchments, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with no subordinates. There is Hunter over here. He can probably intercept into space. But this is, I like the chances better here instead of Fredericksburg. If you can destroy, well, let's see what happens. So that's his plan. So 1, 2 to here, 3. I've done the maths wrong. He can't actually reach. Here. 3 fought across that mountain range. I didn't see the little mountain range there, and it'd be 5, 6. So he can't actually get there anyway. So looks like we're targeting Fredericksburg. So having collected these forces, he can go 1, absorb the forces. 2. Actually, no, it's too large. 2, 3. He'll now move into that hex. Now at this point, I mean, Banks could have attempted to intercept, but he's in a +4 fort. He wants to stay right where he is. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Lee's going to attack Fredericksburg. Change the plans? Sure. Okay, so we're looking at Lee with 17 SPs. I'll bring these all out. So 17 SPs. He has 3 commanders with him, giving him a total of +5. And he has an East card, giving him a total of +7 to his die roll. All right, Confederates +7. Banks in Fredericksburg has, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a defense of 10, +2 modifier in defense, +4. So he's defending at 10 +4, no other modifiers in the area. So this is going to be a big battle. This is the biggest battle we've seen, the highest number of SPs. 17 plus 7 versus 10 plus 6. 3 dice for the Confederates because they have basically on the CRT there is 3 kind of areas. At 17 they can use 3 leaders and they roll 3d6. At 10 the Union can use 2 leaders for their modifiers and they roll 2d6. So 5 dice here. Let's see how they go. Oh geez. Snake eyes for the Union and a 5, 6, 7, 8 for the Confederates. 8 plus 7 is 15, which causes 3 SP losses for the Union. The Union 2 plus 6 is 8, which causes 1 SP loss among the Confederates. This is a pretty big differential. More importantly, it sees the Union having to retreat from Fredericksburg. So they have to go 1, 2 away. They become demoralized. Banks is demoralized, retreating 2 away. And the Confederates capture that fort. It's reduced by 1 level, so it becomes a level 1 fort, F1. You can move into the space. Now, I didn't quite... If you outnumber your opponent 2 to 1, you can keep moving. He didn't. It was 17 to 10, so he has to stop in Fredericksburg. But it's the end of the turn, and in just a moment, he'll gain control of... In fact, Virginia is a Confederate-controlled state, so that's instantly removed as soon as they move in. So the Confederates, after the Union has held Fredericksburg for about a year, the Confederates have recaptured it. But more importantly, yes, they've got 1 SP out here and 1 SP here, but they've got this big, strong army, and Hooker is a long way. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. He can get to here. In the meantime, there's a clear road, a relatively clear road. There's only now 8 SPs. Lee should have 16 with him now. He outnumbers those Union defenders 2 to 1. In theory, if the Confederates can seize the initiative at the start of the next turn, they might be marching on Washington in spring 1863. This could be very interesting. Hooker's a long way from Washington. There's no rail lines connecting Hooker to Washington. He has to march along the Blue Ridge Mountains to try and get there. There will, of course, be reinforcements. But this is good news for the Confederates when things are going so bad. So they regain the 1 BP. Resource BPs up 1 for the Confederates. This is compensation for all the losses they've suffered out in the West. And panic. Panic strikes throughout the Union. Look, they can reinforce. They'll get 6 SPs there. That'll bump them up to 14, but I think they're going to have to bring some more subordinates. 14 will actually be pretty good. It'll let them use 3 leaders if they get an extra subordinate. He'll rally in just a moment, Banks. It's not so bad. The problem is the Union were on the offensive. They just smashed Lee earlier. Now, well, let's see what happens. Okay, if the Union grab the initiative, they can clear up Bragg. They could, where could he go? 1, 2, 3, 4. He could clear up Bragg in 1 turn. Maybe Hooker just says, all right, you can have an attempt at Washington. We're going to strike at your supply lines in the rear. It could be very interesting. So very tense turn coming up for the Union. The next initiative roll is going to be critical. Most of the time, it doesn't really matter who goes first, who goes second, but at moments like this is when these initiative die rolls become very important. So that's another battle at Fredericksburg. Confederates re-seizing the resource hex and capturing a Union fort, which is going to really help them long-term in the future defense of Fredericksburg. All right, thanks for watching. I'll have this 1863 report coming up. Well, I'm still a fair few turns away from the end of the year, but it'll be coming up soon.